Is Columbia the perfect city? No, but let's be real. Can you really call any city perfect without it just being a sales pitch? But that doesn't mean it may not be a perfect fit for you. And I get it. I didn't move here personally thinking I was gonna fall in love with this place. I had my reservations the first year, but somewhere between the riverfront sunsets, the Saturday markets, and that feeling of space, it got to me too. And just hear me out, right? It's not just me. We have consistently ranked as one of the top relocation states across the country. And locally, many neighborhoods have also ranked as the top areas to move to. So clearly, I'm not the only one who thinks this city is special. And now, in 2025, with Columbia changing faster than ever, I'm dropping 30 reasons why I genuinely fell in love with living here. And just a heads up, by the end, you might just find yourself dreaming about sunset boat rides on Lake Murray or brunch at Soda City Market. Look, this isn't some highlight reel. It's real, up-to-the-minute life in Columbia. Exactly how it feels in 2025. So let's kick this thing off strong, because the first reason, it totally caught me off guard. Let's just get this out of the way. Columbia's food scene should not be this good for a mid-sized southern city. I mean, it makes zero sense to me how many standout spots we have right now and continues to grow every single day. I mean, whether you're a self-proclaimed foodie or just someone who plans their weekend around brunch, Columbia delivers hard. I mean, think chef-led pop-ups with rotating menus, food trucks serving Nashville hot chicken on a Tuesday, and local staples like the Divine Cinnamon Roll Deli that still has lines out the door in 2025. I mean, you've got Hall's Chop House on Main Street, a high-end chop house with mouth-watering steaks and service like nowhere else I've been. You got Lulu Drake, an intimate wine night that feels like a European escape. Or Smoked on Main, where the craft cocktails hit just as hard as the ribs. And don't even get me started on the barbecue scene. People here have serious opinions, and it's a heated local debate, and it's worth jumping into. And you even got local barbecue chefs being ranked as some of the best in the nation's culinary scene when it comes to barbecue. Right? It's wild. And what really sets Columbia apart is how personal the food feels. These aren't big chain experiences. You're being served by the owners, chatting with the chefs, and discovering dishes that aren't on Yelp yet. There's creativity, hustle, and pride, and it's baked into every meal, and it shows. And in 2025, we're seeing more diversity than ever. I mean, you gotta think Afro-Caribbean soul food trucks, Filipino fusion, even a new Korean street food stall that just expanded at the Soda City Market. And I know in the past and in this comment section, people will rag on the Columbia food scene, but what I've noticed is a lot of people repeat the same places over and over again, and they're missing those hidden gems. You want real, authentic Mexican food? Real Mexico. You want that West Coast style Mexican food? Head over to Don Tequila's in Harbison. I even had someone from New York the other day said Dano's Pizza. Phenomenal. You want that true farm to table. You're talking about Motor Supply Company downtown, where you get a rotating menu depending on what's fresh. Again, get off of Yelp, start playing tourist in your own hometown, and just like me, you'll be surprised at the phenomenal places that so many people are overlooking in this town. Feeling hungry yet? Good. Because where you're eating might just only be rivaled by where you're unwinding next. You wrap up work, the air's warm, the sky's doing that orange-blue thing it does, and the Congaree is glowing like it's showing off. You're posted up with a drink in hand, rooftop view, and the hum of downtown behind you. That's the River District. It's not trying too hard, and that's the magic. Old brick buildings, literally, you got McDonald's and Publix in these old-style brick buildings, converted lofts, art galleries you didn't know were there, and patios filled with people who all seem like they figured something out. The vibe here is local, lived in, and just the right amount of unexpected. And in 2025, it's easier than ever to explore. With new restaurants and art installations popping up all the time in the Vista, you can walk, wander, and stumble into your favorite new spot without even trying. Whether it's pop-up jazz set outside Blue Marlin or late-night tacos from a truck that wasn't there last week, the Vista always hits a little different. What's crazy is how this whole riverfront energy still flies under the radar. You're getting city energy with nature literally at your feet, and it's all still affordable, still accessible, still real. And what's even more wild is where the Vista stops, you got more rooftop patios in the Main Street district. This is where Columbia shows off without needing to say a word. And we can't skip what's popping off just on the other side of the river while we're talking about the River District. You're talking about downtown West Columbia, where their skyline continues to grow with immense views of the river in downtown Columbia. And if you think that sounds like a good night out, wait until you see what the city feels like the next morning. Saturdays hit different in Columbia. By 9 a.m., Main Street's already alive. The smell of fresh coffee, biscuits, sandwiches, they cut through the air. You got live music on the one corner, a guy juggling fire on the next, and food trucks lining the block like it's a weekly festival. This is Soda City Market. And in 2025, it's bigger, louder, and more local than ever. It's not some curated, overly polished farmer's market. It's raw, it's real, and it's Columbia in full color. I mean, you're talking over 150 vendors stretching downtown with everything from handmade soaps to hot chicken bayo buns. You'll spot college kid, young families, retirees, and a few dogs living their absolute best life. What's wild is how fast it's evolving. The market just expanded this year, and now you've got even more mobile chefs rolling up with new menus each week. There's a Korean barbecue trailer that sells out by noon, and a coffee van that makes you rethink ever going back to Starbucks. And here's the thing, it's not just about what you're buying, it's the vibe, the conversations, the connection. Everyone slows down, hangs out, and soaks it in. Soda City's got this pulse that makes you feel like you're part of the city, not just passing through. And it literally happens every Saturday throughout the year, rain or shine. And if Saturday is the community flex, then what happens 25 minutes west? That's Columbia's best kept weekend secret. Here's the part that catches people off guard, or maybe they signed up exactly for. You can go from downtown buzz to wide open water in under half an hour. That's not an exaggeration. Lake Murray is just 25 minutes away from downtown Columbia, and it's where Columbia completely shifts gears. This isn't some quiet little lake with a rowboat or two. It's massive, talking 50,000 acres. It's alive, and in 2025, it's more of a scene than ever. Think 650 miles of shoreline, pontoon parties, paddleboards gliding through glassy water, and sunsets so wild, they feel fake. The kind that makes you pause your weekend scroll just to take it all in. And this year, it's next level. The Lake Murray Regatta is bigger. The Firewalk Show now draws a crowd that rivals downtown festivals. And a new boat rental company just popped up to help the newcomers dive in without needing to own a thing. The best part? No stress to get there. No grinding through traffic or planning your whole day around it. You grab your cooler, hit play on your playlist, and you're in vacation mode before the second song hits. It's a kind of access most people have to drive hours to find. In Columbia, it's just your Saturday. And if that's your recharge, great. But if your version of relaxing involves rooftops, craft pours, and low-key local spots that the tourists never find, then this next one's for you. Columbia's brewery scene doesn't scream for attention, and that's what makes it good. These spots are tucked into old warehouses, perched on rooftops, or hidden just far enough off the beaten path that they feel like your secret getaway once you find them. You got steel hands over in casing, pouring small batch brews with live music rolling on the patio. The coffee lager is phenomenal, but it's brewed with coffee, so it'll keep you up all night. Savage Craft in West Columbia, just across the river from downtown, pulling in that post-game crowd under string lights and a skyline backdrop. Columbia Craft, they just dropped a new limited release series that's got beer nerds buzzing. And in 2025, we're seeing more seasonal experience, more collabs, and more of that unpolished, authentic energy that makes every visit feel like a new discovery. But it's not just about the beer, it's the scene, the chill vibe. Dogs on the patio, friends catching up, someone playing acoustic covers in the corner, or full-blown Nashville nights at Steel Hands with up-and-coming artists from Nashville in that backyard vibe and more intimate setting. It's where people actually sit and talk to each other. And it's way more diverse and low-key than the brewery scenes in bigger city. Here, you don't need a reservation or a selfie wall. You just show up, order something you'd never heard of, and hang out like a local. And trust me, if you think Columbia's food scene is wild, just wait until you see what's brewing at Reason number 29. It's a total game changer for the city, so don't go anywhere. And once you've had your fill of hops and low lighting, Columbia throws you another curveball. Because some of the most stunning homes in the city aren't new builds. They're hiding in plain sight, full of history and oozing with charm. Some homes just stop you. There's no symmetry, no builder-grade beige. Just a perfectly uneven front walk, an oversized oak stretching across the roofline, and a porch swing that looks like it's been catching stories for decades. Columbia's older neighborhoods don't just have charm, they wear it like armor. Places like Shandon, Elmwood Park, Earlwood. These streets move at a different pace. Every corner is unpredictable. A 1920s bungalow next to a bold mid-century revival. Driveways with brick older than your hometown. Front doors that feel like personality statements. Inside, it's all into details. Skeleton key locks that still work. Archways that frame the lights just right. Original hardwood with scars and stories. These homes aren't trying to impress. They're just standing exactly as they are. And that's the whole point. What makes it exciting right now is what's changing around them. Columbia's finally putting real weight behind preservation, grants, incentive, and neighbors who are more about restoration than renovation. The result? Character homes that feel refreshed, not flipped, lived in, not staged. They're not for everyone, don't get me wrong, but if you want roots, texture, and a place that feels like it matters, this is it. And just a few miles from the street, something entirely different is pulling national attention. Wild animals, cutting-edge exhibits, and one massive surprise that turned a family favorite into a full-blown destination. Step through the entrance and the city disappears. 1 minute you're parking 5 minutes from downtown. The next, you're eye level with a giraffe. And hearing sounds you're not sure even are real. It's wild in the best way, like nature flipped a switch. Riverbanks has been solid, but in 2025, it's something entirely different. The new immersive trail drops you into the middle of action. No fences in your face, no forced path, just winding walkways, tree canopy, and animal closer than you expect. At one point, you're crossing a suspension bridge with lemurs overhead. It's got that Jurassic Park vibe, the calm before the chaos kind of thrill. Minus the whole dinosaurs on the loose situation. This isn't the zoo from your field trip days. It's part botanical gardens, part conservation lab, part wow, this is actually happening. And whether you're rolling in with kids or just coming to kill an afternoon, it keeps surprising you. Every corner feels like a new reveal. And as a local tip, if you're gonna go, make sure to get the pass because you'll save yourself a ton of money. And as a bonus for animals lovers, take that 45-minute drive out into the country to Adora Farms. It's a drive-through safari park that you will be talking about for years to come. Trust me on this one. And right when you think you've seen it all, Columbia flips the script again. Because if you want beaches, mountains, downtowns with a different flavor, you're closer than you think. Columbia plays its position well, smack in the middle of everything, without the chaos of actually being everywhere at once. Feel like walking on the beach this weekend? Charleston is 2 hours flat. Want mountain air and craft coffee in Asheville? Just over 2 hours. Greenville? You can literally be there in less time than it takes some folks to cross Atlanta. What makes it next level is the ease. No nightmare traffic, no airport runs, just toss a bag in the car and go. These aren't aspirational getaways. They're realistic Saturday morning decisions. One take of gas, out the door, you're living that spur-of-the-moment lifestyle. People in other cities have to schedule weeks in advance. And when you're back in Columbia, you're not dealing with inflated prices or crowds of tourists. You've got your space, your rhythm, your home base. It's the best of both worlds. The flexibility of travel without having to escape your own city. Oh, and I can't forget, Orlando and cruise ports, only 6 hours away. No need to be afraid of delayed flights making you miss your cruise. Trust me. But if you're the kind who'd rather stay local and still feel like you're in another universe, the next stop on the list is unlike anything else in the Carolinas. Ever felt like you walked into the set of Avatar? That's Congaree in a nutshell. Think towering cypress trees draped in Spanish moss, sunlight filtering through the dense canopy, and walkways that make you forget how close civilization really is. In 2025, the park is trending, and for good reasons. It's one of the least crowded, most jaw-dropping spots in the Southeast. Firefly season alone draws crowds so mesmerized you might forget to breathe. Seriously, if you're feeling Guardians of the Galaxy meets glowing forest scene, that's Congaree in June. Whether you're kayaking lazily through the flooded forest, hiking boardwalk trails that feel like nature's VR experience, or trekking deeper into backcountry that echoes primal energy, Congaree hits different. Quiet, lush, and full of where am I moments. The real magic, it's just 20 minutes from downtown Columbia. You're talking sunrise ready and city dinner plans in a single day. That is low-key supernatural. And it's a weekend hack other cities only dream about. But if you thought Congaree was overworldly, wait until you see how Columbia blends affordability with that kind of escape. Let's talk numbers, because let's just be real, that's important, right? Columbia is one of those rare places where your money still feel like it means something. I mean, the median home price in 2025 is hovering right around $280,000. For that, you're getting space, style, maybe a backyard with room for a fire pit and a golden retriever that doesn't exist yet, but somehow already feels like the family. Or hey, even a brand new home with a community pool. Stack that against Charleston, Charlotte, or even Greenville, and Columbia starts looking like the smart move. $350,000 here can land you fully updated home in a neighborhood people are just starting to talk about. Just homes that make sense financially and emotionally. And it's not just housing. Utilities stay chill. Property taxes won't make you flinch. Traffic doesn't eat your time or gas tank. You get to live in your home and enjoy your life. Wild concept, right? Especially nowadays. Affordability here isn't a compromise, it's a feature. It's what gives you breathing room, and when you combine that with Columbia's lifestyle, that's the sweet spot. If you're wondering where Columbia's future is being built, I'm saving that for reason 29. It's seriously next level. Now, if you're thinking, sure, but is it just a college town? That's what we hear a lot. The next reason on this list might flip that thought completely. And hey, if you're thinking about making a move to Columbia or just curious about what it might look like to live here, feel free to reach out. My team and I literally help people relocate here all the time. Zero pressure, just helpful guidance. Our info is down below. So this isn't your typical college town. Well, yes, it's been ranked as one of the top college cities around. Columbia pulls off something rare. It gives you that undercurrent of adrenaline without the chaos of living inside a keg party. USC brings the noise in the best way possible. Game days, the city turns up, the air shifts, traffic patterns change, and half the town's wearing garnet and black. It's electric, it's tribal, and it's one of the few times you'll see strangers high-fiving over breakfast burritos. But here's the twist. By Monday morning, it all resets. No hangover energy lingering for the rest of the week. The campus isn't walled off either. It blends into the city. You've got students grabbing lunch next to lawyers, locals catching art shows on campus like it's just another Thursday. And in 2025, USC rolled out new open green zones and public event spaces that turn into magnet spots for the whole city. Columbia doesn't get swallowed by the university, it absorbs it. You feel the youth, the energy, the rhythm, but you're not tripping over scooters and solo cups to get to your car. It's a kind of balance most cities chase and can never seem to catch. And then you add in their announcement of an expansion of the likes of the Battery in Atlanta without having to deal with, well, Atlanta. I mean, think about that work, live, play space that just feels more mature than those college town vibes you get elsewhere. And just down the road from all that buzz, one of Columbia's most iconic streets, where the pace slows, the shops get weirder in the best way, and the sidewalk strolls feel straight out of a Southern short film. There's a certain kind of Saturday that just feels like Divine Street. No rush, no agenda, just you, coffee in one hand, something locally baked in the other, and the kind of neighborhood energy that invites you to slow your roll. Divine's not trying to be trendy, it just is. Boutiques with names you can't pronounce, but staff that know your dog's name. Tiny storefronts filled with handmade candles, vintage denim, and framed prints that actually make you stop and stare. Every block feels like it's got a story you didn't expect. And then there's 5 Points. Columbia's slightly rebellious, always evolving little pocket of weird and wonderful. I mean, you're talking dive bars with charm, local bands playing in a courtyard that wasn't even listed on the event calendar, and indie shops that make you wish you hadn't just paid rent. And with literally established neighborhoods like Shandon on one side and college dorms on the next, you got this truly diverse blend in there. I mean, you got First Thursday events, back and stronger than ever in 2025. Live music, pop-up vendors, artists painting in the street like it's a scene from a movie, but it's just a regular weeknight. You're walking through, running into people you know, and discovering places you missed the first 100 times. This is Columbia at its most local, most human, most unscripted. And you even got high-end restaurants over there like Saluda's. And then you got the more low-key places like Holly's Front Porch and others that are highly ranked in the area.
And you can't go wrong with Cantina 76, dirty queso.
And just when you think the rhythm's winding down. Columbia throws the next track on. It's louder, it's brighter, and it's built for the people who live for energy, culture, and full-on festivals. We want to hear from you. What's your favorite Columbia neighborhood or weekend hangout spot? Drop it in the comments and let's start to build a local guide together right here. Make it a community. A couple helped relocate from Chicago told me this one night flipped everything for them. They literally just moved in, barely unpacked, and decided to wander downtown. Check it out. No plan, no map, just exploring to see what the city was all about. And they ended up outside the Senate. They saw lights glowing. They heard crowds buzzing and music thumping through the sidewalk. There was a local band neither of them had heard of, and they were on stage, but the sound hit like something you'd expect in a much bigger city. So they stayed, grabbed tickets at the door. No stress, walked in, grabbed drinks, and let it happen. They said it was even more wild that afterwards, they could walk next door to catch a band on stage at Tin Roof, a chain they had back home and thought was only reserved for big city life. That night, they texted me, "We didn't expect that Columbia had this kind of edge." I mean, the comments made it seem like there's nothing to do here, but man, that was an awesome night and we can't wait to do it again. And that's the thing, Columbia's music scene isn't trying to impress. It's alive, it's local. It's everything from open mic poetry nights in Five Points to full-blown concerts that light up the street. One week it's funk, the next it's folk, and somehow it all fits. And I mean, even the university plugs into it. Outdoor sets on the green, student bands that rip harder than you expect, and collabs with local venues that blur the line between campus and city. It's not curated for tourists. It's built by the people who live here. And the moment you stumble into it, you get it. But if one night out can surprise you, wait until you see what Columbia does with a full weekend. Food, culture, chaos, all wrapped into a citywide celebrations that somehow never feel forced. Columbia doesn't believe in the off-season. This city throws down all year long, and you better believe there's always something cooking. Sometimes, literally. I mean, you got crawfish boiling on Rosewood with Zydeco music in the background and beer lines stretching halfway to Charleston. Greek Fest? You can smell the souvlaki, did I even pronounce that right, from 3 blocks away. Yeah, the first time someone invited me out, I was like, okay, what's this all about? But I was blown away, and someone is definitely judging your baklava game. And then there's St. Patty's in 5 Points, where they turn the fountains green, and it starts with a parade and ends with outdoor bars and live music. It's not just the big name weekends either. One week it's a wine stroll through Divine Street. The next, it's a taco and tequila crawl that gets way out of hand by 3 p.m. You'll stumble onto bluegrass in the park, spoken word in a bookstore, or a food truck rodeo in a parking lot like it was planned for you. Nobody dresses up. Nobody pretends. It's just people showing up, from toddlers in wagons to folks who have been coming to these festivals for decades. You walk in a stranger and you leave with barbecue sauce on your shirt and 5 new friends. And there's literally festivals every single month. The Irmo Okra Struts, Gilbert Peach Festival, and so many more. Oh, and don't miss out on the State Fair in October. Our first year here, we saw Thomas Rhett at the State Fair. Before, he was selling out stadiums across the world. No joke, it was wild. And just when you think you can't get more laid back, here come the dogs. And no, they don't just show up. They run this town. So I worked with this seller, Maggie, whose dog Dolly absolutely stole the spotlight. Golden Retriever, had the bandana collection all, porch vied for days. Dolly wasn't just a part of the listing. She was the reason people stayed longer at showings. I mean, one agent messaged me and said their buyer literally said, "Forget the house, I just want Dolly's life," because they saw the pictures of her life all on the walls. And honestly, I get it. Dolly had that Columbia lifestyle down. Weekend mornings at Soda City Market, front row at Steel Hands on a Saturday night, even a favorite barista at Drip, who handed her a pup cup without asking. She was on a first name basis with more local vendors than I am. That's how this city works. Columbia doesn't just tolerate dogs, it builds life around them. Breweries with water stations and shaded patios, leash-free zones where dogs run like they pay rent. Outdoor festivals where you'll see more wagging tails than baby strollers. And it's only grown in 2025. New cafes are popping up with dog menus. The local rescue scene is strong, with pop-up adoption events almost every weekend. There's even a Halloween pet parade downtown. Whether you're walking through 5 Points, grabbing coffee in Cottontown, or hitting a trail in Saluda Shoals, dogs are part of the scene. Happy, spoiled, well-socialized little legends who make Columbia feel even more like home. And it's not just the city, it's your home, where builders like Mungo are adding pet pads, where even your dog can have their own room in the house. And they've even brought dog parks to some of their neighborhoods. But the city's not all fetch and frisbee. It's also got an artistic side that runs deeper than most people realize. There's something timeless about walking through downtown and stumbling into a place that makes you stop. Not because it's loud or flashy, but because it feels intentional. The Columbia Museum of Arts has that kind of gravity. You walk through those doors and the city quiets down a little. The light changes, the pace softens. It's not about racing to see everything. It's about letting the space work on you. And in 2025, the new exhibits are bold and unexpected. Rotating installations that manage to surprise even the locals who have been coming here for years. And it's not just the museum. The whole arts district has taken on this quiet kind of confidence. I mean, you got galleries with soft jazz leaking out the front door. Artist studios tucked into corners of buildings you wouldn't look twice at if you didn't know what was inside. And every first Thursday, the sidewalks come alive. Not loud, not chaotic, just filled with people who love the city and want to see it through someone else's eyes for a little while. There's pride here in the brushstrokes and the poetry readings and the fact that Columbia isn't trying to copy another scene. While being inspired by others, it's curating its own vibe. And every now and then, when you find yourself sitting in a gallery with a glass of wine in your hand and a painting that just won't let you look away, you remember the city has layers of culture, of community, and of something else, something simple, something that lives on front porches and comes with a smile. Now, I know what you're thinking. Southern hospitality. Sounds like one of those phrases you hear on a billboard and never actually get to see in real life. But in Columbia, we found it's real. And it's not a performance. It's the neighbor who rolls your trash bin back to your house because they notice you're out of town. It's the woman at checkout who calls you honey like you've known her since kindergarten, but y'all just met. It's the guy in the pickup who waves at every car he passes, just because. There's no pressure to be anything other than decent. Porch culture is alive here. People still bake pies for each other. I mean, I said when we first moved into our first house here, our neighbor brought us over home-baked bread. Block parties, they happen without RSVPs. I literally had a seller the other week that was like, hey, Brandon, I don't know if this is something that we can advertise, but I didn't know if you know or if they do it in your neighborhood, but we do block parties. And I laughed because I was like, just to be 100% honest, this is a commonality across the area, especially in those new construction neighborhoods where they actually do food truck nights and so much more. But circling back, if your lawnmower breaks down, there's a decent chance someone's already walking over with theirs. It's not about charm. It's about showing up and that feeling of being seen, welcomed, known. It sticks with you. But it's not just the people that welcome you. Columbia is full of green spaces that invite you to slow down, spread out, and just breathe. You don't have to escape the city to find space in Columbia. It's built in. Sesquicentennial State Park. Locals call it Sesqui because still to this day, I have trouble pronouncing Sesquicentennial. Sesquicentennial, right? I mean, it's got everything from hiking and biking trails to paddleboat rentals and shaded spots, perfect for that do absolutely nothing kind of day. Saluda Shoals, it runs right along the river with trails, splash pads, and kayak launches that turn your lunch break into a mini adventure. And in 2025, Finlay Park is finally getting the glow up we've all been waiting for. This iconic fountain will kick back on with new playgrounds, revitalized green space, better lighting, the kind of upgrades that turn a downtown park into a daily ritual, something so many of us have been begging for. These parks, they're not afterthoughts. They're stitched into everyday life. They're where families picnic, runners train, and kids learn to ride their bike for the first time. And just like the rest of Columbia, they're accessible, easy to get to, easy to love, easy to make your own. And speaking of families, Columbia doesn't just offer space for them. It's building a city where families grow, starting with the schools. Ask anyone moving with kids. Schools, they matter. And Columbia's quietly delivering. You got Richland 2, Lexington 1, and Lexington Richland 5, all offering strong public options. And 2025 has brought new magnet programs that give families even more choices. You're talking STEM, arts integration, language immersion. It's not a one-size-fits-all system, and that's the point. And charters, they've grown recently too. Places like Gray Collegiate and American Leadership are raising the bar and doing expansions across the area. And parents are taking notice. Smaller class sizes, focused tracks, and a real sense of community. Not just in the classroom, but in the drop-off line, the PTA meetings, the soccer sidelines. What you feel here is that people care. Teachers are invested, administrators show up, and parents, join the board. And the connection between school and neighborhood is strong enough that it doesn't end at the final bell. Whether your kids are starting kindergarten or looking at high school tracks, Columbia gives you options, not just answers. Let's be honest, access to healthcare isn't sexy to talk about. I mean, I came from being an EMT for 10 years, trust me. But it is when you need it. And then suddenly, it's everything. And the good news, Columbia doesn't just check the box, it delivers. Prisma Health and Lexington Medical Center are both top tier, with specialists that actually listen and facilities that don't feel like stress factories. You're not driving 2 hours for a decent pediatrician or crossing state lines just to get an MRI. As well, MUSC just took over Providence hospitals a few years ago, and they're well known in the state. But look, I'm not gonna lie, it's not perfect. The system and the area are going fast, and sometimes that does mean playing phone tag or waiting longer at the ER than you'd like. Still, the trade-off is worth it. You get real access, real quality, and new expansion that are pushing Columbia's healthcare scene forward fast. I mean, we're seeing Lexington Medical Center, Prisma Health, all pushing facilities out in the Northeast, out by the MUSC facility. And Lexington Medical Center, buying land in West Lexington. It's growing fast. So if you're relocating, this isn't a city where you cross your fingers and hope. You've got options, and they're growing, and they're solid. And with that said, we do have the Dorn VA Hospital down in Columbia for our veterans. And when you're healthy and ready to plant roots, Columbia has a way of showing you every kind of home under the sun, from old school charm to brand new sparkle. Townhomes, bungalows, new builds. Here's where Columbia really flexes. It doesn't force you into one look, one neighborhood, one lifestyle. I mean, you see the arguments online. I want an HOA. I don't want an HOA. I want a new house. I hate new houses. You got choices here. You want a craftsman with history and hardwood? Done. You want a sleek, no maintenance townhome, 5 minutes from everything. Easy. A brand new home with a community pool for the kids. We got it. Or maybe you're dreaming about that brand new build, but with that resort style Crystal Lagoon vibe. The groundwork's underway, and it's one of the most anticipated communities on the horizon. But here's the spicy bit. The market's moving, steadily, quietly, but it's heating up again. The hidden gems are getting harder to find. And the neighborhoods that used to be overlooked, everyone's suddenly talking about them online. So if you're thinking of waiting around for the perfect one or the perfect timing, I challenge you, don't. Columbia's home scene rewards the ones who look twice, dig a little deeper, and trust their gut when something feels right. And wherever you end up landing, you're never far from where you need to be, because Columbia might just be the easiest city you'll ever navigate. You don't realize how rare it is to have a manageable commute until you leave it behind. Columbia isn't immune to growth. Rush hour is real, trust me. And those 20-minute city days are starting to fade. You've probably seen the comments online. But compared to bigger metros, it is a breath of fresh air. Trust me, as someone who moved from the suburbs of LA, the traffic here is pretty laughable. You can literally live near Lake Murray, work downtown, hit the school pickup, and still make happy hour most days without losing your mind doing it. Traffic? Yeah, it exists, but it's mild and manageable. And nothing like the waves refreshing chaos of Atlanta or Charlotte. I mean, people in Charlotte are still trying to cross town by the time you've hit the gym, the grocery store, and back in your driveway. That's the friction most people don't see. The slow drain of time spent stuck in gridlock, rerouting your life around delays. Trust me, I've been there. Columbia still gives you much of that time back. And that freedom, that's lifestyle. And just when the clock frees up and the weekends open wide, Columbia delivers again. This time for the families looking to play, just as hard as they hustle. Oh, and if you're still watching, here comes the real move. Trust me, you don't want to dip early, because the final stretch of this list, that's where things are gonna flip. We're talking local secrets, underrated gems, and the one neighborhood you've never heard of that's about to blow up in 2025. Stick with me, the good stuff is coming fast. Some cities try and manufacture family life. Columbia just kind of lives it. This is the kind of place where Tuesday afternoon turns into a puppet show at the library, and a Saturday morning stroll through Saluda Shoal ends with a surprise science demo and a splash pad detour. In 2025, the family scene's dialed all the way in. Adventure keeps leveling up with interactive exhibits that don't just entertain, they wear your kids out in the best way. Weekly story time, kid-friendly concerts, mobile art trucks rolling through neighborhoods. It's real, it's local, and it's working. The city doesn't just shove family fun into a corner. It threads it into the day-to-day life. Your kids don't just have places to go. They've got reasons to stay curious. And if you're raising a family here, you start noticing something else too. The city's heartbeat, it's small businesses and the people who show up for them. You want to know what Columbia really values? Walk through Soda City on a Saturday. Talk to the woman selling hand-poured candles that smell like her grandmother's porch. Or the guy roasting coffee who used to run finance spreadsheets before he followed his gut and built something real. This is a small business city, and Columbia treats locals like royalty. You'll see it in the packed food trucks, the local-only holiday markets, and the fact that people here don't just shop small, they rally around it. When a new bakery opens, the lines wrap around the block. When a storm damages a neighborhood shop, Stranger organized the GoFundMe. It's not a campaign, it's a culture. And volunteering, that's baked in too. Food drives, park cleanup, literacy programs, the kind of things people do because that's just what you do here. No virtue signaling, no pretense, just neighbors with boots on the ground. And how can I help attitude. And no need to post it on social media to brag about what you did. But when Columbia really wants to come together, it throws on some garnet, fires up the grills, and turns the volume all the way up. Game day in Columbia isn't a sporting event. It's a full-blown cultural reset. Tailgates fire up before sunrise. Garnet flags hang from every porch. The sound of the marching band echoes from blocks away. You can feel the electricity, not just in the stadium, but in every backyard parking lot, in gas station coffee lines. Williams-Brice becomes sacred ground. In 2025, it's not just bigger, it's better. I mean, you're talking new tailgate zone, upgraded fan experiences, and food trucks serving everything from ribs to vegan tacos. There's no wrong way to celebrate, and everybody is in it together. You don't need to know football. You don't even need to care who's playing, because the second that kickoff hits and the stadium roars, you'll understand why people build entire weekends around this. Trust me, as someone who grew up a Miami Dolphin fan and didn't care about college football, my mind has changed, and all I have to say is go Cox. And right after the last touchdown, when the music fades and the streets start to quiet, Columbia has a very few more surprises waiting. If you ever doubted Columbia had a staycation games, let's fix that real quick. There's something about checking into Hotel Trundle that just shifts your brain. The lobby smells like confidence. The colors are bold. The rooms are cozy, but stylish, and suddenly, you're not in the city anymore. You're in your reset. Down the street, Graduate Columbia, a little academic flair, a lot of local charm, and a breakfast set up that rivals most weddings. In 2025, more locals are booking weekends at these spots just to tap out of the grind and tap into the vibe. It's become this quiet trend, escaping the noise without leaving the zip code. I had a couple, Kayla and Marco, who relocated from Pittsburgh. Their first weekend here, they booked a room at the Graduate just to explore before committing to a neighborhood. They walked Divine, headed to Main Street to hit up Lulu Drake, and popped into Smoke for a drink and caught a surprise jazz set. Next morning, they headed to check out this Soda City market everyone raves about. And shortly after, they texted me, "Book the tours. We are absolutely ready to move." Forget what the people say in the comments section. This place is the spot. That's not a hotel. That's a Columbia moment. And now you got the brand new Moxie Boutique Hotel right across from the Capitol and Hall's Chop House with a rooftop bar with a view and valet parking right out front. I mean, this game is changing fast and people are absolutely loving it and soaking it in. They always tell me, this isn't the city I thought it was. We've never been a downtown kind of person, but the vibe here, they just love it. I've even told my wife this year, instead of skipping town for anniversary, we need to come check some of these places out. Come stay at the brand new Moxie, hit their rooftop bar, check out some of these restaurants that my clients have told me about that we haven't had a chance to try. You know, 10 years later, you learn that you get so used to your routines that you got to go back out and play vacation in your own hometown, become a tourist again, and you'll find a lot of places that you didn't know existed before. And I know that's something we need to start doing again ourselves as I learn more about some of these places from my clients. And just when you think this city softened you up with boutique elegance, it slaps you with a retail scene that knows how to throw elbows. You won't see Columbia in the headlines for shopping, which is why it still slaps. Divine Street is the heart of it. One minute, you're picking up hand-dyed pillows. The next, you're sipping craft espresso in a bookstore that smells like pine and possibility. But the real twist? Trundle Plaza and spots around Forest Acres are sneaky good. Name brand powerhouses next to indie boutiques that pack more vibe into 500 square feet than most malls do in 50,000. It's that blend, that local flair, but with real selection. No mega malls with echoey walkways and broken escalators. Just walkable, browse-worthy blocks where somebody always compliments your outfit and means it. And the kicker, you walk out with something that feels found, not bought, something that sparked conversation. And now you got revitalization going around the town with malls converting into local hotspots downtown with brewery shops and more. And downtown, Taps is being revitalized into the shops at Taps with a gymnasium downstairs and phenomenal shops upstairs. But hey, all this lifestyle talk still doesn't touch what matters to your bank account. So let's talk Columbia's ultimate flex. Want to see someone drop their jawline? Show a Charlotte transplant a Columbia listing for $350. Down in Charleston, that number might get you a broom closet with character. In Columbia, you're looking at a full-size backyard, a fireplace, space to breathe, and maybe even a bonus room where your next side hustle is gonna launch. This isn't a fantasy, it's just how the math works out here. The secret is getting out though. Neighborhoods like Forest Acres, Rosewood, and even over in Lexington are seeing offers stack up. Not because they're trendy, but because people are realizing Columbia's sweet spot is the combo of cost and lifestyle. It's what happened when a city's still real, still local, and still building momentum. But it's not just a house that feels different. How much more of you gets to exist when your paycheck isn't swallowed up whole by housing costs? And just when you start calculating your monthly saving, Columbia drops one more incentive that makes you feel like you're cheating the system. Forget everything you thought you knew about Columbia's nightlife and food scene. Bull Street District is rewriting the playbook. This isn't just a redevelopment, it's the city's coolest new hangout, where industrial grit meets modern swagger. I mean, you got Segra Park. It pumps up the energy with Fireflies baseball that feel more like block parties. And then you talk about the events and concerts that they do throughout the year, even when baseball isn't playing. As well, you got places like Iron Hill Brewery and Publico right behind me, pouring great beers and serving amazing food. Young professionals and adults have taken notice with this work, live, play vibe. Whether it's the high-end townhomes or apartments that feel straight out of a hot city, right across from co-working spaces, the baseball stadium, REI, Starbucks, and plans for a ton more. Adding the announcement of the building of Gather Columbia this year. A food hall that's slated to be a non-stop flavor explosion. Think gourmet street tacos, craft cocktails, and coffee so good, it might just replace your morning alarm. This development is only getting started, and the vibe is already like nothing else we have seen. Columbia knows how to turn up the energy. But here's the real magic. Even with all this growth and buzz, it still feels like a place where you can slow down, know your neighbors, and feel right at home. This one hits last for a reason. Because after all the fireworks, the food, the riverfront, the festivals, the homes, it's the blend that makes Columbia stick. It's small town rhythm with big city options. It's knowing your barista and catching a nationally touring band that night at the Colonial Life Arena. It's tailgates that feel like family reunions. Neighborhoods where you recognize the joggers and know the dog's name before you even meet the owners. I'll never forget Jamie and Devin, a couple from Austin I helped move here last spring. They were burned out, that tech fatigue, city prices. They rolled into Columbia with low expectations and a high tolerance for compromise. 3 weeks later, they were hosting a backyard cookout with neighbors they just met, watching the kids ride bikes down a quiet street like it was 1997. Devin texted me a photo of the sunset over their porch and said, "I didn't know places like this still existed." Columbia didn't win them over with one thing. It was all 30 of these moments, stacking up day after day until they realized this is what life was supposed to feel like. All these reasons and so many more that literally Redfin just ranked Columbia as the #1 place to live in South Carolina, beating out places like Charleston, Greenville, and Myrtle Beach. So is Columbia right for you? Only you can answer that. But if anything in this list made you pause, smile, or picture your life here, maybe that's your sign. This city isn't trying to be perfect. It's just trying to be real. And sometimes that's exactly what people are looking for, whether they know it or not. If you got questions, reach out. No pressure, no pitch, just locals who've helped dozens of people find their fit here and who would love to help you do the same. And if you're not done exploring, hit up this playlist right here. We're diving into Columbia's best neighborhoods, school zones, lifestyle breakdowns, and a few spots the relocation guides always miss. You won't want to skip it.